If you're positive, you better bless this space. If you are negative, you better get up on my face. If you are positive, you better bless this space. If you are negative, you better get up on my face. If you are positive, you better bless our space. If you are negative, you better get up out our faces.
Period. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Witches and Weebs, Witchy Wednesdays. No, this is a spiritual Saturday.
This is a spiritual Saturday.
This is a spiritual Saturday. I'm just so used to doing Witchy Wednesdays that I defaulted to Witchy Wednesdays. I'm Azari.
I'm Space.
And today, journaling prompts to understanding yourself better. This episode is just basically about journaling your feelings. Space was really kind enough to get us prompts that we can use for just understanding ourselves better when it comes to journaling.
I have them in a Google document because we're not going to cover all of the questions. There's actually quite a lot. But I will reference the YouTube video that I found by a YouTuber called Crystal. And I think that L is an I, don't quote me on that, but it's a very small creator. I don't know how she got the fucking name Crystal. I'm so nosy. But I'll have it linked in the Google document that will be in the description later. And so what she did is, well, I know we all hate Carl Jung, but hear me out for a second. What she did is she took the archetypes that he talked about, and she took 12 of them and just made a series of questions based on those archetypes to just give you guys a look. Because the thing about those archetypes is that you can embody each and every one of them depending on the situation. So what you should really do is do this, take those archetypes and see where that archetype fits into your life. Mm-hmm. Not, oh, this archetype, I'm this archetype everywhere. It's more like an archetype per...
I'm a Leo, so that means I'm a Leo in every aspect of my personality and my life. And it's like, no, you're not. High astrology, you've got houses, you've got planets in your houses, you've got zodiacs in those planets, in those houses. Like, there's a lot of key factors that make up your personality. You're not just your sun sign. So
this is the same sort of concept. Is like, one archetype is probably the one that you embody the best. But then all the other archetypes, you can find areas of your life where, oh, I use that. So this is the same kind of situation. So she covers the archetypes of creator, the lover, the magician, the caregiver, the sage, the everyman, the hero, the jester, the rebel, the innocent, the ruler, and the explorer. And what we're going to do is, what I plan to do is, we'll take one question per archetype and figure out why she's making you ask that, or answer the question ourselves and see if we can get a deeper understanding of ourselves here. You're gonna get maybe we'll get a little honest and a little vulnerable and a little soft.
That's what we do here at Witches and Weebs.
Unfortunately, last time I cried. You guys saw me crying. And when we do that, I will give you a better definition of the archetype that we're going over as well. So as I think we should start with the creator archetype, because we are both creators.
You know what's so funny too? Before we started recording this episode, we were talking about Hindu mythology, and we were talking about the triple deities, Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. And Brahma is the creator. So I think it's just really funny that they're coinciding together while we're doing this episode. It's very cool. And we're definitely going to be looking up more about Hindu mythology after this episode. So.
I've already done quite a bit of Hindu mythology research, so I will be helping you with that because my husband is tattooed on both arms with Hindu mythology. So he's got Shiva on one, Kali on the other, and I don't know how to pronounce the big god that he has on his shoulder, but it's a very dark god, and he looks awesome. But I'll have to get back to you on that one. So we're going to start with the creator archetype, and This archetype strives to bring new ideas or art into the world, focusing on originality and imagination. And I think that really fits the both of us, because me as an artist, and I love to do everything creative, role-playing, world building, art, music, movies, loving my cat who shows up at the most inopportune times ever.
Listen, if we had the means to do all of the creative things that we want to do, we'd be pumping out shit left and right and left and right. Because I can guarantee you, if I knew how to engineer instrumentals, you could not tell me that I would not be making music right now. And I know for a fact that if I made music right now, and I'm not even trying to like glaze myself is what the kids call it these days, but I feel like I have
Way
a
to
good...
age yourself, Mia.
I don't mean to glaze myself. I hate Gen Z slang, but I feel like I personally know what is good. And it's not even just a matter of opinion. It's a matter of like, from a critical perspective, why do you like this song? Well, I think that aside from just it being a genre of music that I like, which most people will call good because that's the music that they're used to, I can tell if something doesn't sound right. I can tell if something's on key. I can tell if notes match other notes and they scale well, or if they just sound like, if they don't really harmonize well.
Did you take music classes?
No.
Oh, so you have natural...
I took a piano class in high school, but even before then, I know music well.
Here's the thing. Some people can't do that, Mia. So that's a natural talent that some people have.
Can I sing? Not really well, but I feel like if I had training, as most people would have training, then obviously, yeah, I would be good. But I think I have a really good ear when it comes to music. And this is funny because I listen to shit like Meg Thee Stallion, Glorilla. I like Stunner Girl, all that, you know, hood ratchet music. But that's just because of how it makes me feel. Now, if you're actually trying to analyze the music, it's like, okay, well, she's talking about throwing her ass in a circle, showing off her titties, and basically robbing men for their money. Okay. But it sounds good. It's like the saddest songs are always the most upbeat songs, which is really funny because that's how you get people to gravitate. People aren't going to listen to the lyrics until they listen to the song like 1, 2, 3, or if you hyperfixate and have ADHD like me, over and over and over and over for like the next 2 weeks.
That's me. I have like 2 songs I'm currently doing that too. My favorite. Fucking love that. So let's look at these journal prompts while I try and keep this cat under control. Let's honestly go, do we think we're creative?
Yes.
Absolutely.
If we weren't creative, we wouldn't be doing this.
Absolutely. Here's the thing is that I think a lot of people don't know that they're not actually creative. And a lot of what they create is self-insert.
I mean, it's still technically a creation if you think about it that way.
It is, but it's not so creative to the point where they're actually creating new characters. Yeah, they're just taking the character as a skin and inserting themselves.
There's one thing to be a creator, and there's another thing to be creative.
Yes.
Now, people can create all they want to, but if there's no substance behind it, then can you really call yourself creative?
If it's the same thing and just a different skin over and over again, it's not creative.
Now, we're not trying to downplay anybody specifically.
You're a creator. I'm not saying that you're not a creator. You are a creator and keep creating because that's the only way you're going to become creative.
Right.
But you have to start pushing yourself beyond doing the same thing in just a different version. Mm-hmm. It's the same way where you have to be able to relate to people that don't look the same as you.
Right.
That's a facet of creativity because that means you create different characters each time. Mm-hmm. I create characters that I'm not like in real life at all. My favorite character to write is the baddest bitch of all time. Walks with her head held high, does not take shit from nobody. I am not that way. I am meek and in a corner. I'm a wallflower. This bitch commands attention. She walks into a room. She dresses herself in corsets. Indeed, she takes literally 2 hours to get ready. Hair done. Not me. 15 minutes, I'm done.
Some people would argue that is technically a self-insert, but in an alter ego way of what you would like to be.
I don't want to be
rather
like that
than
at
what
all.
you are. And I'm not, if you want to self-insert,
That's
that's
fine.
okay. But
Absolutely, because
it's not really creative if you're making the character do the same mundane things that you're also doing in your everyday life. You got to spice it up a little bit. You got to,
yeah.
and
That's the
especially
thing
in
about
a certain setting too.
And the thing is, here's the thing. You can't be creative without being a creator. So you have to create. Regardless. You can't stop creating. So we are not saying that you need to stop what you're doing. Absolutely not, because that would defeat the purpose. We want you to keep creating. You have to be a creator to be creative.
And creativity, honestly, is perspective. Because we might not think that something's creative, but somebody else might think that that's creative. And that's okay. We are the kind of creative where we want to elevate people to get out of their comfort zone. Like, yeah, you can play this cool self-insert character, but what if you made another character? And it's like, we're not downplaying your character either.
Not even another character. I'm not even saying change the character. I'm saying put the character through different things.
Right.
Explore what would happen if that character went through things that you could not go through. Even if it's a self-insert.
Right. Because, like, to me, that is like a really
totally do that as a self. Actually, that's a great way of learning how to handle situations that you would otherwise never be able to handle.
And manifesting.
By doing it. And manifesting, I was about to say. And setting yourself up to possibly experience that. So there is a great use of self-insert characters. Don't ever stop creating them. Just use them for a different purpose. Use them to manifest, because that's a great fucking way of manifesting.
Right. Like, it's like, okay, here's my self-insert character. I'm going through hell. I'm going to make my self-insert go through hell. Why would you want to emulate that? Don't you want to escape? How about you put your character in a better scenario?
What you would want to be, like, what you would rather be going through.
Right.
Like, okay, my character, let's say you take the fact that you went through hell, slap that in your character's backstory, and now be like, how does she get out of hell?
It's the comfort thing. It's what they know. So that's what they're going to default to, because they haven't thought outside of the box enough to find a way that will be creative that actually makes sense. And I feel like this is
all about getting out of your comfort zone. Literally. That's it.
Okay, people shit on purple prose. And I used to be a person that shit on purple prose writing. But honestly, it's a really good way to refine or think out how you describe things. If you want to over describe, that's fine. But at some point you'll have to be like, okay, maybe this is a little too much. So let me just take what I like out of this and dial it back a little bit. You don't have to dial it back all the way. But if you just are inserting flowery text into something that doesn't make sense, then you are literally going to like jar away from the original point of what you were writing. Like, okay, this is a nice hot spring. Okay, cool. I like that you've got steam emanating from the pools of azure and whatever, how people purple prose.
The funny part is, there is absolutely a time and place for purple prose.
Right.
Because it shouldn't be in like a dialogue section probably, but when you have a quick paragraph that you're gonna slap for a descriptor, slap pretty words in there, please. I want them. Let me slurp them up.
Because of course, if you're pointing out things that don't really matter, then you are taking away from the original passage. I encourage purple prose in moderation.
Like I said, time and place. Time and place.
And it's just like,
but the whole thing is about, to be creative is to be outside of your comfort zone. To stay in the same comfort zone, to write the same things, to do the same characters over and over again, to experience the same thing, is to be in your comfort zone and to be a creator without being any longer creative.
Like,
so yes, we get out of our comfort zones pretty often. Clearly, I'm doing this shit and I'm terrified of it. Terrified of seeing myself online. and being disliked. And I still want to do it because I want to be creative and I want to be a creator and I want to prove this. I want to build a thing with witches and weebs that's more than what it is. I want to be creative that way.
Right.
So.
And it's been helping us because we've been discovering things that we would have otherwise overlooked.
Absolutely.
It's just all about trying new things. If you can try something new, you're already taking baby steps to creativity. There are levels to creativity. There's people that can world build to fucking back and have people enraptured to the point where, all right, well, now I want to make my own characters in this world. And you can self-insert, but at that point, in someone else's world, you can't self-insert and then have your character do the boring, mundane, everyday things. You're in a magical realm now. Your character can have access to magic. Your character can be a completely different species.
I think honestly D&D and tabletop role playing is a great way to self-insert a little bit.
Yeah.
100%. Because
AUs are
those
awesome.
worlds are absolutely impossible to do the same mundane thing every day because you are not in just control.
Right.
The DM is in control of the world, so he puts your character through things that you would otherwise never experience, and you get to experience, you get to learn how to do that and learn how to experience those situations, experience communication with other people and political intrigue, where you have to deal with politics and learn all the fucking persuasion and all that kind of shit. That's a great way to be creative and self-insert at the same time. So I just want to reiterate, I love a self-insert. You just got to do some other things too. You got to add a little bit more.
We're saying all of this to basically just say, step out of your comfort zone. That's it.
Yep, pretty much. We're creative because I think that for the most part, I'm very adapted. Creating characters that are not in my comfort zone because I wouldn't act or dress or don't want to act or dress like I don't want. See, the character that I had talked about earlier, she's very mean to people and I'm not that way. You have to earn my meanness. She gives meanness and you have to earn her respect. I'm very soft. If I hurt your feelings, I'm gonna cry. I might not show you that, but I will go home, sit in my bedroom in my dark and sob like a little bitch. I don't like hurting people's feelings, especially if it's an accident. This bitch loves hurting people's feelings. Not me. Can be me.
And I just want to reiterate that we are not trying to downplay anybody who feels that they're creative. We're just basically saying, okay, you can think that you're creative. We're not able to tell you that if you're creative or not. It's all perspective. But imagine
perspective and opinion.
Exactly. Imagine that you took that character and put them into something that you otherwise would not put them in. And then it turns out like this was some really good development for them. Why didn't I do this earlier? Because you were too comfortable. And now that you're stepping out of it, you have so many new avenues to explore when it comes to that character. So it's all we're basically saying is step out of your comfort zone. That's it. If you can encourage people to get out of their comfort zone, you are giving them so many branches to be even more creative than what they already are or what they believe that they are.
Absolutely. 100%. We're going to move on to the next archetype, which is the lover, sometimes known as the romantic, depending on who you're asking or who's talking. But this is very obviously yearns for love and belonging and focusing on relationships and intimacy. You're obviously going to find aspects in your life that you can apply to the lover. What question do you want to ask? I picked the last question, Mia.
Do you think you're a sensitive person?
Yes.
Do you feel like you act impulsively? And I feel like a lot of people are sensitive, and it's one thing to be sensitive and then there's another thing to be empathetic, and then there's both. And a sensitive empath, oh man, those motherfuckers feel. And it's like, I don't even want to feel this way, but I feel how you feel. And now I'm already a crybaby. So now I'm feeling extra.
Here's the thing. I have literally been able to tell that Mia was upset from across the country. I was like, hey, bitch, what's going on?
Like, same, me too. Like, if I feel something but nothing's happened, I go, Space, are you good? And then they'll be like, no.
Pissed off. They'll be like, I'm mad. Or like, Mia will do this out of nowhere. Be like, I'm pissed off and I don't know why. I'll be like, well, I'll tell you why.
Like, literally. And being empathetic's not a bad thing. I feel like empathy is it's just a more advanced way of sympathy, because with empathy you can actually feel how they feel, but with sympathy you can only really imagine. But since you're not experiencing yourself, all you can really do is like be like, yeah, if I were in that situation too, I would feel the same. Whereas I wasn't in this situation, but I feel exactly how you feel because I feel your emotions.
So sorry. So the thing is, you don't have to be empathetic to be sympathetic. You can always be sympathetic.
Right.
You can understand that somebody has feelings and they're, regardless if you think it's rational or not, they think it's rational right now and you need to just let it go. Let them come to terms with whether it's actual rational or whatever in their due time. Just talk with them. Just be like, I get it. I'm sorry that I can't really say that I was in the same situation.
Right.
So I don't know exactly what you're going through, but I understand that whatever is hurting you is hurting you. And I'm not going to say that it doesn't matter, because it does.
And if someone is venting, let them vent. If someone asks for advice, then you can add your 2 cents. But if somebody is literally coming to you just to get their emotions out, you are not in any position to tell them, well, you should have did this. Well, you should have did this instead. Especially if it's coming from a place of how you would do it, rather than putting yourself in their shoes and giving them advice on how you think that they should handle it. There's a difference. If you know somebody to the T, you can tell them, hey, I think that, this would benefit you more, as opposed to, well, I would simply do this and this and this. And it's like, y'all are not the same person. So you telling them what you would do is not going to help them in their situation, because like you're not there.
I can't really give Mia advice on certain things because I'm not in her position. Like, I can't give her mother advice because fuck that, never gonna have kids. So I can't really, I can only be like, well, I saw on this website that this video is bad. That's all I can really do. And so you have to understand where there's things that you can give advice on and there's things that you can't. And in that situation, if you don't know when a person comes to you to vent, this is a great question to ask. Do you want me to fix it? Do you want me to stand here? Do you want me to be a brick wall that you can punch for right now? Ask a question. Just ask, what do you want from me right now? And then give it to them. Whatever they say, give it to them. Unless it's like dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, don't be like, I want drugs right now. No.
Well, I can't help you with that. Or if they're just like, hey, can I vent? Yeah, sure. They vent. What do you think I should do? Then you can give some solicited advice. But if they don't
ask,
say,
hand it over. But like, and if you don't know what they're looking for, ask. People need to just get over asking. They think it's silly to ask questions, and there's an anti-intellectual situation where it's just, no, if you don't know anything, just make it up, or don't ask questions, just pretend. It's like, no, just ask, motherfucker, please.
Okay, I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here, and this is under the umbrella of being a sensitive person. Okay, how was I gonna start this? Basically, I've been in a position where people have asked me for advice and I give them advice and they just don't listen. And it's like, okay, well, how am I supposed to give you advice? And I'm trying to think from your perspective and give you a best case scenario for you, not what I would do, but for you. And you're not taking it. And then you're going back and you're doing all these things. And then you're coming back and complaining about the same thing again. I am not at liberty to give you any advice, and you cannot be upset at me, and you can't call me sensitive because I'm upset that you are You're asking me to help you, and then you're not listening. That is a waste of my breath. That is a waste of your time.
Literally, if you're gonna ask somebody for advice and then not listen, don't go to the same person for advice again.
And you can't be mad at them when they don't want to give you advice because you've literally already exhausted your uses.
Yes, you like people. I understand that people want to give chance after chance after chance, but you really can't
unless you can somehow handle it. But it's really not good for you mentally or spiritually. They are literally just taking and taking and taking all of your energy, and then all of a sudden you're tired and you don't know why. That's why.
Yeah, so it's like once one action is one action, they have to re-earn the next action.
Right. On the other hand, if someone is mad at you because you're giving them advice based off of what you would do and your perspective and not theirs, you cannot call them sensitive either. You can't say, okay, well, you're acting like a little bitch because you could absolutely do this in this scenario. And you're being sensitive, you're being a baby, you're being moody. And it's like, well, no, you have clearly shown that you don't understand me. And I thought you did. And now I'm upset because you're giving me this advice that I didn't ask for. And then you're making me feel bad for not being you. Why would I want to vent to you again? Why would I ever want to why would I ever want to say anything to you if all you're going to do is self-insert instead of helping me with my situation? I'm not sensitive. You're just an asshole.
Wild how that comes back to haunt us.
Because it needs to be said and it needs to be heated.
Yes. Do not self-insert yourself into other people's situations. Try to understand them in their situation. The best way to start being more creative. Ain't that crazy?
And it also works with impulse, because if your first instinct is to tell your friend that they're a pussy because they are the nice white swan friend and you're the black swan friend and you're the one that's ready to stab and kill, even though you know that they're not like that, don't be so impulsive to jump and give them advice that's not gonna help them at all.
Correct. Because it's not gonna be, it's like, don't even dare. Before we run over super much, let's go on to the next question.
Yeah, I think that was all I really wanted to talk about with the love.
That's fair. So the next question is about the magician. Obviously, this is the one that seeks transformation, using knowledge of the unseen to create change, but risks manipulation and unintended consequences. Because this is obviously somebody who worries about themselves more than other people. The seeking in the knowledge of the unknown, and the ones that not necessarily, it's just they seek to inspired action, like a magician a wizard in fucking D&D that casts fireball in a tiny room. It doesn't care. That's the kind of vibes here.
I don't care if everyone dies. As long as the enemy's dead and I'm fine, doesn't matter.
Exactly. That's the kind of vibes that's going here. Oh, God. Which one do I want to ask, Mia? I don't know if I want to ask any of these because it's a little truthful. Oof.
But that's the point.
I know. Do you think the universe is working in your favor?
Absolutely. And, okay.
I didn't for a long time.
And
I still struggle with it.
Yeah. The universe is always working in your favor. It's just a matter of, think of the universe as like a big sea, a big old ocean, big body of water. And then there's you. You're sailing the universe and the universe is carrying you in a certain direction with the waves. But if you decide that you want to take an oar and go make your own path instead of letting the universe take you, then
you're gonna struggle.
Yeah, and it's hard because they're like, hey, we have a path for you. Now, it's just a big open body of water, but there are islands. You just don't know when you're gonna get there. And that's fine, but you trust that the universe is gonna lead you there eventually, but you probably have to make some stops. You probably have to, repair your boat a little bit, find a way to fix all of what you need to keep going. But if you decide that you want to pull away from the universe and try to make your own direction, then what can they do? Because they're going to try to push you back into that direction. But if you're going to resist, then there's not much that they can do aside from letting you do your own thing until you're like, okay, well, this isn't working anymore. Source, can you help me? And they're like, yeah, sure. We let you do what you wanted to do, but now we're going to push you back in the direction that we originally had.
And here's the thing, is like what you said about there being different islands. in the ocean, there are many different currents. You can catch a different current. Like, there's plenty of different paths along the ocean that you can find. It's not one path that the universe is gifting you.
Yep.
It's okay. So you started in this direction, but we see that you're going in another direction, and there's a current that you can grab to get to this island that goes in that direction. So there's plenty of different, it's not one path for you and that's it. You only have one singular meaning to your life. No, you probably have plenty that you find along the way, in those tiny little islands that the current takes you to.
Right.
So.
And the universe is basically just trying to get you in the safest path. But, you know, you veer off. Now you're in a current. Now you're in like a really big, like a whirlpool. You can't get out. You don't know what to do. And then you're like, universe, please help me. And that's where manifestation, that's where affirmation comes in. You're asking the universe, I'm sorry that I strayed away. Can you help me? You're still going to be in that current, but you're going to slowly be eased out because the universe is going to put you back on the safe, calm belt, calm current, whatever. And then you're going to keep going. Now, there's going to be some parts or some aspects where you're not going to get to the island immediately. You're going to probably have to stop here for a little bit because you've run out of food, you've run out of water. You're going to have to restock. The universe guided you here. Even though you wanted to be here, you're not ready to get there yet. You still have things to work on before you can finally get to this. And I'm a bitch that fucking inserts One Piece into everything. Whatever.
I mean, I knew where this was going as soon as you dropped the islands of the ocean current.
It wasn't even originally intended to be One Piece, but that's like the first thing I thought of. And I'm like, damn, bitch, you really talking about One Piece right now. But it's like, One Piece aside, this is like the best analogy that I can give when it comes to having the universe working in your favor.
To be honest, because when you're out on a boat, you really cannot fight the current. You have to go with the current regardless. But there's plenty of places along. If you're in a river, on either side that you could stop at any point in time and get off the universe, just gotta paddle in the right kind of, go with the flow and not fight it by going diagonal. Like you go diagonal, you don't go horizontal onto the land on the side of the river. You go at a diagonal angle. You still go with the current, but you just direct yourself a little bit.
Yep.
And you get to land. You can direct
never just
yourself.
A straight path. There's never a straight path. There's never point A and point B. I saw
There's point A and point B, C, D, E, all the way down to Z. There you go.
It's like the meme of how someone with ADHD tells a story. There's point A, and then there's point A.1, A.2, A.3, and it's just so many different things, but you eventually get to that point.
If you just were to just take notes and read over an ADHD story, you will understand why they told you every point.
They have to make sure that everything makes sense, because you can't just say, well, this and this happened, and it's like, okay, well, what happened for that to happen? Well, then this happened. How did that happen? Well, because this happened. Like, there's so many branches.
There's layers to everything. Everything is an onion. Everything is an onion. We're all onions. Peel the layers. You're not one size fits all. Nothing is one size fits all.
Nothing.
We're onions.
Everything is not just fast tracked. You can't say, hey, universe, I want to go to an island that has a bunch of money trees so I can get all this money. Okay. What do you want that money for? Well, universe, because I want new clothes. Do you have clothes already? Yeah, but is there anything wrong with them? No. Can you still fit them? Yeah. Do they have holes in them? No. Be grateful for what you have then. We can get you to this place, but you have to, and then the universe is going to take you to an island where all your clothes are so you can learn to appreciate all your clothes. And when you learn how to appreciate all your clothes, then the universe will take you to an island where there's money, because now that it's like the one line in Princess and the Frog. You got what you wanted, but you lost what you had. So now, because you weren't grateful of what you have, that's gone. And now you have something new, but now you're unhappy because you don't have what used to make you actually happy before you discover that there's something else that could potentially make you happy, but you don't know if it's going to or not.
Potential don't matter. Potential only exists in your mind, unfortunately. I do have to ask this other question. When was the time in your life when you were manipulative?
When I was younger. Absolutely when I was younger. And it was because I wanted attention so badly that no matter what I did, I didn't give a fuck if there was positive or consequences. I would manipulate people. I would be like, hey, I wouldn't guilt trip. I was a big guilt tripper when I was younger. I would purposely make people feel bad. So then they would be like, oh my God, you're so fucking right. And then they would cling to me because I make them feel like shit. So yeah, I did that a lot. And I'm gonna own up to it because I grow. I'm growing. And I see that manipulating people for personal gain is a very shitty thing to do.
Yeah, doing anything for some kind of personal gain is kind of shitty to do. I will say, as a Scorpio, I have a bad rap of being manipulative just by being a Scorpio. So I have a very hard time playing into this rap. But I will say that have been and will probably be by accident passive aggressive at some point in my life again. And I used to be very bad at vague posting on the internet, and that was my worst sin. However, I will tell you a fun little story about how I was manipulative on purpose and manipulated somebody into developing an art career on Instagram, because I would make them draw for me every night because I would tell them it was the only way I would fall asleep. That was a lie. I just knew they wouldn't draw for any other reason than if somebody else, like, this was my friend and I no longer speak to them. So this says that it didn't matter to me at the time. So what I was doing, like, they would always talk about how I never have any motivation to draw. And I was like, well, what motivates you to draw? And they were like, well, typically when somebody watches me. I was like, okay, I'll motivate you to draw. And so I would start, hey, you want to draw for me? I can't sleep. But I would be asleep 10 minutes into the show. Never know. And so I would do that for weeks on end until eventually they would start telling me on their own, hey, I'm drawing, do you want to come watch? And I would obviously come watch and rinse and repeat, and they would start doing it on their own. Eventually they got to the point where they were just streaming without even letting me know and going live. And now like 6 months after that, we had a falling out with all of that friend group because her and her girlfriend broke up and she went on her own. But I saw later that she had developed an Instagram that had a couple thousand followers with her art on it. And that was the time I was manipulative on purpose, because I definitely was sleeping during every single one of those videos. Never watched a single inkling of any of them.
I don't think that's a bad thing, though.
That's my thing, is depending on your intention of the action. My intention was to motivate her to draw.
I don't even honestly think that was manipulative at all.
If you do, like, my thing is, it is manipulative, because the only thing that I wanted to do was motivate her to draw, but I didn't have any sort of, I could have just told her, but I didn't. I let her believe that I was lying to her. So I was manipulating her. She thought that I was getting something out of it.
Did you get something out of it?
I did not. I got nothing out of it.
I would have gotten the satisfaction knowing that my friend got the confidence to put up their own stuff on their social medias.
Well, okay. Later, I got the satisfaction of that. But that wasn't for 2 years till I found her Instagram. At the time, I was manipulating her for pure no reason other than might as well.
Damn, not even because you wanted them to do more art and get better at it? That's crazy. Okay, never mind. That was a little manipulative.
However, but like, it was my thing is that I didn't know them enough to really care about them that way. But I was like, well, if you want to draw, okay, I'll motivate you to draw. There was no gain for me at the time. I was literally lying to her from the get-go.
This is just proof that the universe will always have your back, because that could have turned into something really bad, but instead it was person who was lying to me about wanting to watch my art has given me the confidence to do things on my own now.
Exactly. Like, but the thing is, if she'd have found out I was lying to her in that time, she'd have been heartbroken.
Yeah.
Probably would have never drawn again.
Yeah, I would have too, because it's like, what do you mean you were never watching me? I would have used spite as a fuel I would have like, I'll show this bitch, watch this bitch, make my Instagram, make my
That'd
fucking
be fine
art.
with me. I would have been fine with being the villain in her origin story of being a great artist. I'd have been totally fine with that. But here's the thing is, perspective matters.
Mm-hmm.
I was manipulating her. There's no doubt about it. I was lying to her and I was manipulating her.
I have a question.
However, my intention of it was good.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to be,
Mm.
did you have malicious intent or were you just fucking bored?
Here's my thing. I was bored. I didn't have anything else to do. And I was like, well, why the fuck not motivate somebody else to do something if I'm not doing anything at all?
Right.
So my intent was good. And that's what I was going to bring up is that perspective matters. Because yes, you might manipulate a situation, but was your intention good behind it?
For the record, I do not encourage manipulation in any form. So,
I mean, if you're manipulating a bad person, manipulate away.
It is perspective, yeah, because I do not care about bad people enough to try to manipulate them at all.
It's about perspective. But like if you're in a situation and you're in a room with a bunch of big old corporations and you have the situation to manipulate them into doing something in your favor and to do something better for everybody behind you, would you not do that?
Yeah. But that's just because, again, perspective.
Perspective. Just that's the only answer you have. It's perspective. Because you're like, well, I don't care about bad people enough to manipulate them. And then I give you a situation.
It's subtext. It's the subtext.
I give you a perspective that would be like, oh, I do care enough at some point to do that.
Yeah, because like that's one thing. Now it's another thing if fucking Jerry Bob Joe over here was just a shitty ass fucking person.
Exactly.
You don't care
again,
about him.
It depends on the situation. If manipulating somebody in a courtroom gets this guy put in jail because he's actually really bad, but we don't have any real evidence on him. But like there are situations where you can manipulate with good intentions. So just because somebody calls you, that was manipulative, that's perspective.
It's very complicated.
The funny part about being human is it's complicated.
Yeah, it's
nothing about being human is easy and simple. There's nothing on this planet that is easy.
It's not black and white. And it's not all gray. It's like you can manipulate someone. Okay. And this is just how I feel. We're
going to have to speed run the rest of the game.
When I think of manipulation, I think of malicious intent. Because that's what manipulation is associated with. Manipulation is associated with negativity. And then there's
however,
like manipulation,
I believe
there's coercion, and then there is, what's the third one? Convincing. Because there's manipulation, coercion, and convincing. I feel like if you are manipulating with good intentions, that's convincing someone to do something better. Whereas
unless you're lying when you're doing it.
Yeah, manipulation is basically lying. Coercion is like diet lying, and then convincing is
influencing.
Yes, but not with a lie. It's just the straight up truth.
However, if you're manipulating, there's a lie involved in somewhere in there.
Right, because you're not being forthright about something.
Since I was lying to her and not watching her stream at all, because honestly, art streams put me to sleep like that. Can't watch them at all. They vibe out immediately. So thank you for doing art streams, because if I do have insomnia, I actually do watch them, because it's instantaneously that y'all put me out. I don't know. It's just a relaxing thing watching somebody just draw lines. But yeah. So definitely if you are manipulating, there's a lie somewhere in there. If you're just convincing, you're using the truth. If I was actually watching her stream because I needed to sleep and I didn't have insomnia, but I was like, it's 10 p.m. I just got home from work. I'm definitely going to sleep immediately after this. I'm not going to need to be up at all. So, yeah, that's the difference. If you're manipulating with a lie, lying matters. But in the end, it's all content. It's all perspective. There's nothing about the world that is black and white. What is your right is somebody else's wrong.
the best way that I can put it in my perspective is that when you're manipulating someone, you're playing on emotional aspects of them. So going back to the court scenario, you can manipulate the jury because it's like, okay, well, this person is XYZ. Remember a time where you were XYZ, how you felt when you were XYZ, you know, and this person is doing that to other people. Imagine if this person's going out and doing this to people and you had experienced that too. Now this person is experiencing what you're experiencing. Don't you want to put them in jail?
Pretty sure that's like against the rules, but that's absolutely correct.
Yeah, that's like a way of manipulating. Whereas convincing, it's like, okay, well,
using the truth.
Yeah, this person has done this before.
Blah 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 blah. This is proof that they've done this. Blah 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 blah.
Exactly. So, and now it's up to you to decide if you believe me or not. But I've given you facts, so now it's up to you to decide if you want to heed me or not.
After the facts, that's it. If you're unconvinced, then you're just poo-poo. I don't know what to tell you.
Right, because like Space could have convinced this person, I'm not watching your streams because I'm not actually falling asleep to them, but I think that somebody you should stream on Twitch so you can have someone watching you.
But here's the thing. I knew for a fact that that was not going to help her.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that I could not tell her that. But the perspective matters.
Manipulation is just still a bad thing, but
absolutely.
Now we're not saying go manipulate your friend because you care about them. That's not how that works. If you care about your friend, you convince your friend. You don't manipulate your friend. Manipulating normally has negative undertones. Convincing, you normally would have their best interests at heart.
So we're going to continue on. I've already cut this episode into 6, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. I've got this episode into 6 of these. We're going to do a second episode because we talk a lot.
Yeah, it's okay. We do. And we be spitting.
And we do be spitting. So the next question is the caregiver, which is super self-explanatory. This is nurtures and helps others selflessly, but can risk overextending and becoming a martyr. I have become tons of martyrs in communities that people no longer like me because eventually I get pissed off and then I vent and then so you did this all for manipulation just because you wanted everybody to like you. It's like, no, I thought you guys were awesome, so I gave you things and now I realize you guys suck dick. It's not because I wanted you to like me, it's because I thought you guys were nice.
I thought you guys understood me, and I realized that I was wrong, and I am, in fact, not the problem. Now, into that retrospect, it depends. You could possibly be the problem if it's the same situation with different people and the same result. Because those are different people.
This is the same people. In different communities. They just haunt me.
Now, and I'm not even talking about a collective of people because people are sheep. And if someone says jump, they will ask how high depending on how much power and manipulation they have over those people. If it's individuals that have the same problem with you, you are the problem. Now, if it's groups of people, you can't really tell who the problem is because everyone's a problem. This person's a problem for spreading rumors. This person's a problem for believing in those rumors instead of trying to see the situation from both perspectives.
Like, if a group of people has a problem with you, but you only know like 1 or 2 of them, the other people that have a problem with you, sheep. You know they're sheep. That's it. If you only know like 2, now if you know the whole group of them one-on-one, you're probably the problem.
Right. And it's so funny because it's those type of people that lead these smaller groups that make up a conglomerate in a community. Because you can, and then I'm hypothetically speaking, so if you get offended by this, the shoes fit, your cognitive thinking shutting down, and now you are projecting. However, if there's one
Please
person...
don't project on us.
Like, we'll just call him Johnny. Johnny is in a community of people where Johnny is a good-looking guy and Johnny knows how to play on people's emotions. Johnny's a smooth talker. Johnny knows exactly what to say and what to do to make people follow him, like a cult leader. Johnny tells all of his followers he hates her because she cheated on him, or he hates her because she does this, that, and third. Johnny gets another girl, the same situation happens, but with a different girl. Johnny gets a third girl, the same situation happens with this third girl. Johnny is the problem. But they won't think Johnny's the problem because Johnny's already painted himself in boo-hoo, I've been hurt by 3 different girls. But Johnny will also make up different scenarios so it looks like that he's being hurt. But in reality, he's the problem, and he's been the problem for all 3 of those. But they believe Johnny because they don't care to find out both sides of the story. They just believe what Johnny says because Johnny says it well. And if someone
Johnny
can speak well,
says it first.
Right.
The thing is, once you hear a story first, it is hard to be able to accept a second story and a third perspective. And you take that first perspective, your brain is programmed to just take everything at face value. And that makes for awkward situations because that's not how shit is.
Right.
Like I said, we've put this apart, is that perspective matters.
Right. And now girl 1, 2, and 3 have come out against Johnny, compiling all of their evidence because Johnny's never provided evidence. Or if Johnny has provided evidence, Johnny omit everything that made him look bad and only made him
lie
look
by
good.
omission.
And that is manipulation. Johnny's manipulating people into thinking that he's the good guy. But then 1, 2, and 3 come forward with all these receipts and the entire conversation, and now you look stupid following Johnny because Johnny's just been outed, Johnny's canceled, and now you don't know what to do. And now you're canceled by association because you thought it was a good idea to follow Johnny.
And now the thing is, knowing somebody and being like, well, we weren't really friends, is different than being like Johnny's biggest supporter.
Right. And
being
honestly,
like, oh, those bitches were nothing but whores anyway. They cheated on my man Johnny, and then it comes out that Johnny's the piece of shit. Now you're guilty by association. The person that just happened to be friends with Johnny but never knew the girls and never really was like, okay, whatever. Is like, sure, Johnny.
And
I don't really care about what happened with your relationship, Johnny. We just bowl together, Johnny.
And here's my thing with that, because people who are Johnny's biggest supporters don't know the real Johnny. And Johnny could have had friends, but Johnny lost those friends because Johnny's not a good person. If you are someone like Johnny's biggest supporter, you don't know shit about Johnny aside from what Johnny wants you to know about him.
Absolutely.
Johnny is manipulating you into thinking that he's the good guy. And now, because people will listen to you, it doesn't matter what you're saying. It's how you say it. You cannot know what the fuck you're talking about, but if you say it in a way where people will listen, they don't get it. It's like Buggy. It's like Buggy, and I hate being the One Piece bitch, but it is exactly like Buggy. Buggy don't say shit.
I was literally about to point out that Buggy is exceptional at propaganda and misinformation. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Being able to say something that is nothing, but make it sound like everything. Yep. That is propaganda and misinformation in a nutshell. And Buggy from One Piece is exceptional at it. That's why it pisses me off to the theory that blah, blah, blah becomes blah, blah, blah is actually very plausible because he does that the whole series. It's not something that's not like coming out of nowhere. It's his shtick is that he fails upwards because he's so goddamn good at speaking about jack fucking shit.
Notice how the most charismatic people on the internet are the stupidest people that you know, but because everything that they says makes you rally and like, oh my God, that don't sound right, but the way that they're saying it with such confidence makes me believe that they know exactly what the fuck they're talking about. And
Absolutely.
Now you've given Johnny a platform, and now Johnny thinks that he's hot shit and can do whatever he wants because he knows that he opens his mouth and everyone's going to fall at his fucking feet.
My thing, like, and I want to point out that there is a big difference from somebody who casually was on Johnny's bowling team than somebody who was touting that these girls were a whore and blah, 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 being Johnny's biggest supporter. The dude on the bowling team who saw him once a week and was just like, sure, Johnny, your girl's a whore, but can we just bowl?
Like, I don't give a fuck, Johnny. We're not here to talk about your escapades. We're here to fucking bowl.
That is not somebody who is a guilty by association. You're not being canceled by just being around that person or being a casual fan of somebody who comes out to be a terrible person. Okay, you liked 5 songs from this artist who turns out to be a horrible fucking person. That's okay. You're not guilty by association. You didn't tout that everybody that came out against this person was a terrible person and a liar and how dare them be blah, blah, blah. You understood the situation. You looked at the evidence. We're like, oh, he is poo-poo caca. All right, time to go. There's difference.
Right. Because if Johnny's ever had a real friend, they're not friends anymore, because 9 out of 10 times Johnny showed the real them, and now they're like, okay, Johnny, everything that you were talking about these girls doesn't make sense. I'm gonna go. And then you start fueling on spite, because it's like, okay, well, now I gotta know, since I'm not friends with Johnny anymore, even though I decided that I wanted to just push these girls' stuff under the rug, I'm gonna go talk to them now and see what actually happened. Oh my God, they have receipts. Oh my God, Johnny's a shitty person. And there are people who could tell that Johnny is shitty off rip. And I think it's the empath, because there've been a lot of videos that were like, here's a person that everyone loves. And then you feel their energy and you're like, why the fuck does everybody love this person? Do they not feel what I'm feeling? I don't feel like this is a good person at all. What the fuck do y'all see? Who's
someone online that you rely on for support? In what capacity? Literally. Literally, we're literally across the country and we've never actually met in person, but we've been friends for on and off for 7 years. There's a time break in there because I was involved with a poopa caca person still, and you were not. So we separated for a little while, but then we found our way back to each other, and it's been inseparable ever since.
Yeah, we've never fallen out to the point where we stop talking to each other for a long period of time. If we argue,
it was just case we just
were doing different things at a different time. But if we argue, we're like, all right, I'm good now. Hey, bitch. Hey, bitch.
Yeah. We literally had a scuffle not 2 days ago because someone was being a butthead.
It was all my fault. I will take full responsibility for it because my husband humbled the fuck out of me. He's like, this is dumb, right? I'm like, I know.
And also, it's like, you have to understand that you can never know someone's true meaning over text. Even if you're autistic, you still pick up tone in a way. It's just opposite. We just have everything backwards. And we're just all mixed up. We have our own situation. I have figured out between me and my ADHD husband that, I actually do pick up tone just in my own fucking way. I have learned, but I think that's trauma that has instilled me in different, I can pick up his tones. But I can't pick up like random people's tones. I'll just be like, whatever. Like if you're being passive aggressive with me.
Yeah, my tone comes from pattern recognition. If you type a specific way and you've typed this way for as many years as we've known each other, and then you suddenly start typing differently, I'm gonna think that something's wrong, because why you suddenly switch up on me? What's going on? Did something happen? Did I do something wrong? Also, don't jump to the worst case scenario. Don't just assume that you've done something wrong, because if your guilt is telling you that you've done something wrong, then you know what you did. If you feel guilty, then you know exactly what you did, and now you're coming to terms with the fact that they know. And that's a reflection on you more than it's a reflection on them. So if you jump to the worst case scenario, unless you have super bad anxiety to where you always blame yourself no matter what, you need to own up to that.
And here's the thing about me as a person. I have looked, not to be one of those fucking witchy spiritual people. I looked into my human design and I'm a reflector, but I actually am. Okay. Like I looked into it because I was like, I literally had to know why everybody projected their feelings onto me. everybody is like, you made me feel this way. I'm like, I didn't make you feel shit. You felt that way. I said a thing. Now, if I said the thing wrong, that's fine. I'll apologize for that thing. But I didn't make you feel jack fucking shit.
Now, I do have a line that I've been told multiple times, that you are not allowed to determine how someone feels. Now, there is nuance to that. Because if somebody's already having a shitty day and already is feeling some type of way, what you said didn't already make them feel like that. How you said it is just already sending them off to the moon. But that's not your fault. They already felt like that, so you can't take responsibility for that. Now, if someone was fine and misinterpreted something that somebody else said, then it's like, oh, I wasn't trying to make you feel that way. It's all about communication. If you can sit down and cordially communicate with somebody and tell them, I'm sorry that I made you feel that way, that wasn't my intention, and they could be like, it's okay, maybe I shouldn't have taken it at face value, then that's fine.
Like I said, like I said, when I was explaining myself, I said that if my wording was wrong and prompted a reaction out of you, I will apologize for that, because I did not mean to make you feel a type of way. But I did not intend that feeling, and it was not malicious.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. I'm acting out of ignorance because I don't know that that's going to trigger you.
Right.
This is just how I talk. So this is just how I am and how I talk. You can't tell me that that's a malicious act. I can tell you, oh, okay, well, I didn't mean it like that, but I'm sorry that it happened. That was definitely not my intention.
Right. Now,
you can't tell me, you did that maliciously.
Yeah. Now, if somebody comes at you like, what up, bitch? I'm fucking mad today. Fuck you. And you respond in that same energy, you can't be mad at them for matching your energy. You came with that energy and they gave it back to you. You matched
first.
They're not going to apologize for that shit. Oh, you made me mad.
If you come to me with that energy, I'm gonna be like, ugh.
Like, oh, you made me mad because you said this. Well, you fucking came at me like this. If you want an apology out of me for matching your energy, I'm gonna need an apology out of you for coming at me like that, for me to react like that.
I will always match energy.
Period.
Because I truthfully, once I understood what I was in human design, everything fucking made sense. And I was like, okay. So I could honestly be clearer with my words, but I don't know how to word things any better. So there's nothing really I could do other than communicate when people bring me a problem. I'm more than willing to communicate if you have a problem with me and something I said. Because I'll be like, oh, I didn't mean it that way. How can I word this better so you'll understand how I meant it?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm more than willing to correct myself because I know that I don't know how to word things better. I have to be willing to make that change so that people can be willing to come to me and be like, hey, I didn't like how you said this thing, blah, 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 because it made me feel this type of way. It's like, okay, I won't say it that way anymore because now I know better, because it's whatever for whatever reason, so long as it's within reason. Like,
in a reflector perspective, it's like, okay, well, why the fuck ain't this person communicating with me? Are you communicating with the reflector? No? Well, 2 and 2. Communicate, and they'll communicate back.
The reflector needs good in to give good out. So you give bad, I give, I will be 10 times worse than you could ever imagine if you fuck me over. Because now I know you're a fucking terrible individual and I don't care. Because I don't have those kind of, like, this the one thing is, I am empathetic to certain people that I bond with. But if I don't know you enough to know that I need to care about you, I don't care. And once I know you're a terrible person, I really don't care. So once you fuck me over and I understand that that's the type of person you are, I'll be worse. And it's like, it's the worst kind of thing because that's just my nature, is to reflect the bad of society. Worse because I'm showing you your shadow side, sucks to suck. You don't have to like it.
Right.
Work on it. That's your fault. You gave me this energy to work with, so I'm giving it back. But you give me good, I'm gonna be great, bitch. I'm gonna give you 1d4. I'm gonna try everything to make you happy because you've already made me happy by giving me good energy. That's all you need to do to me. I just need good energy. And I'm like, let me get to work. I'm going to carry over into talking about the sage, which is pursuit of knowledge, truth, wisdom, valuing deep understanding, but can become disconnected with emotion because you intellectualize everything. And this is yet another archetype that space is really good at as a reflector, because I intellectualize everybody else's feelings because that's what you guys give me to work with. Okay. So I'm like, why do you feel the way you do? I have to know why, so I know how to like work around it and like blah 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 blah. I literally intellectualize everything because I have to, because I don't understand what people give me. When you give me random negativity, I have to know why. It's like, oh, is it something I said? Were they having a bad day? Blah 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 blah. I have to know why.
And it's not fair to just leave somebody in the dark at all.
For the sage question, what's a topic you wish you were more knowledgeable about? Spirituality and witchcraft in general, and that's why we're starting this. Like, that answers that question. Like, this is the exact reason that we're starting this, and we wanted to carry on with you guys together, is because we have been on the path of the craft, like tiptoeing in lightly on either side. She's been doing spirituality and I've been doing witchcraft, but I've also been tiptoeing into spirituality and she's been tiptoeing into witchcraft, and we want to do the same. Like, we want to explore more of everything of both of those. So
even mythology, exactly. I want to learn about, even though I'm not voodoo, and I don't think I can be initiated into voodoo because I don't really know anyone of voodoo aside from someone who was already initiated into it. I still want to learn about it. I want to know about their deities. I want to know about their practices. I want to know about their cultures.
The thing is, it's great to know about other cultures because then you can pinpoint when it's stolen and reclaimed in other practices and be like, oh, that's not actually what that is. But it's also the practice of sharing culture is important to keeping culture alive. If you do not share culture between others, culture will die. That's how, and culture needs to evolve as people blend together in different societies.
We gotta wrap this up. It's almost 2 hours. Holy fuck.
Oh fuck, we talked a lot. The everyday man, this is the last one we're gonna do today because it's the everyday man. What do you oh shit, I closed out my little notes that I had up.
I'll ask. Okay, what is a skill that you think you're completely average at?
Quite literally everything that is science and math. I'm just not good at it. I just can't. Numbers are bad. Like, I don't like numbers and they don't work well for me. I'm dyslexic and I can't tell my left from my right. I literally still have to do this and still stare at it like, which one's left.
Me fucking too.
So, so I love the idea of science and using it in like my world building when I've started. Okay, so I have a D&D world named Ghidorah, so obviously I'm experimenting with science and magitech and magic all up in that world. Physics, I love all of it. But the actual numbers of it, fuck that shit. Sorry.
That's real deep shit. Like, that's the nitty gritty. That's stuff that you go back to after the whole world is complete and then refine and refresh. And that's okay.
I can make things sound really. The funny part is nothing ever makes sense until way down. Like, I've made entire characters that don't make sense until I go back and reread something in a manga that has been released for 25 years. And I'm like, oh, that's what it is. Holy crap. Okay.
What is the oldest object that you own in your life and still use every day?
My husband. I'm just kidding. I actually own a stuffed animal that I sleep with, and I don't want to tell you how old that is. Probably 15 years old now. I think I got it when I was 18.
I think my oldest thing that I have are, and I don't even know where they are. That's the crazy part. I have a pair of tarot cards that I've had for like 10 years. And it's the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck. And I don't know where the hell I put them. I think they're on my bed. I have them things for a decade. Like,
I love how that's your oldest item.
Oh, I didn't answer what I think I'm average at.
Well, you
Cooking.
did not.
I'm very, very average at cooking.
I'm not.
I can cook. I can cook basic things. I can make fried chicken. I can make baked mac and cheese. I can make collard greens. Do they taste exceptional? They taste average. Now, because if I eat my collard greens and I eat collard greens of someone who actually knows how to cook, like my sister's mom, the difference is night and fucking day.
You're like, damn.
Now, that's not saying that my food is nasty. It's just compared to the person who actually has experience in cooking, theirs tastes infinitely better. Now, do I enjoy cooking?
It's gonna taste.
Yes.
This is gonna taste fine. Gonna feed you. Taste good.
Right.
Gonna get this is gonna taste like a home cook.
Right.
Who also slathered some motherfucking witchcraft in that shit.
She got the work.
But she cooks with love.
Yeah.
And that's magic.
That is the most important thing. If you cook something with your whole ass heart, I can guarantee you, unless you literally did the ingredients incorrectly, it really don't matter how much love you put into it. It's not going to taste that great. But if you just follow step by step and be like, yeah, I'm doing this because I like it.
I can't wait for my husband to taste this shit. Let's go.
Like that shit.
That shit's going to taste great.
Damn. I like cooking, but there's too many things that I want to do that are more important than actually learning how to cook like
big
professionally.
Fat meals. Yeah.
Like you got home cooks who cook because they love it. I can't say that I love cooking because I hate cleaning up afterwards, but I can, and it tastes good because I know with common sense how much of what I need to go into what.
My thing I know how to cook. The reason I don't like to cook is actually because I eat with my fucking eyeballs. So I can cook a meal, and I mean, I'll cook steak, potatoes, and lemon pepper, fucking green beans, and be a solid fucking, and then I won't want to eat it because I will be full. It's not even that I'm tired. I literally am like, okay, I'm full. I ate. My eyeballs do the eating.
I ate this meal, bitch. All right, now actually eat the meal. I don't want to because I already ate.
Like my husband has seen this in action where I'll make us like beans and rice and the whole dinner, and I'll be like, I'll take like 3 bites and be done.
Yeah, I just get tired.
And
so
he'll
I
be
don't
like,
eat.
It tastes wonderful. What the fuck? I'm like, I'm full.
I photosynthesized off of my cooking.
I photosynthesized. Exactly. Okay, let's wrap this shit up because we have talked what the fuck for a long time.
We really have, and we're probably going to cut most of it out or include it in the next episode or turn some of it into shorts. We'll figure it out.
So the next episode is obviously going to cover the next 6 questions when we get probably next week. We'll probably record that. So you'll see that next week. We'll start it with like the hero. We'll finish up the hero's journey through these questions of self-discovery.
I think this was a really good episode for, we did understand ourselves better with these prompts. Like, even though we were actively asking them, we were also answering them. And as you can see, it works. So absolutely 100%. Space said that they're going to have it linked in the description. So take a look for yourself. Journal things. If you're comfortable with sharing your prompts.
Feel free to answer. Yeah, go ahead. Answer some of the questions in the you can just answer one if you want. Yeah. Just share something with us. You can answer one of the same questions that we did.
Right, in the comments.
Absolutely.
If you're comfortable with doing that, we absolutely do encourage it. Yeah.
Yeah, we want you guys to start talking with us. We're going to start replying to you guys as soon as we can. We noticed there's some comments out there already, so we're excited for that. We're excited to start talking to you guys. So
I'm excited that we are all taking this journey of self-discovery because that's what Witches and Weebs is about. We're trying to help people discover themselves while also discovering ourselves. So workshopping.
As we do the things that we love to do.
Yeah, work with us, not against us, and all shall prosper. Okay. yeah, let's wrap this up. Remember, everybody, practice wisely and stay safe. May all of your affirmations and manifestations come to fruition. And we'll see y'all next week. But part 2 of this episode. Bye.
Bye. See you next week.